Hey tankers, and welcome back to World of Tanks with pr154, and it is another fiscal quarter and therefore another box opening event. Today it is the Call to Mars event. So we're going to be opening 50 Martian containers and giving you a detailed fiscal analysis of what's in the box to help you maybe form a view as to whether or not they are worth it. Now, I'd like to start with a couple of caveats. For one, these 50 Martian containers were actually gifted to me by Wargaming. I didn't pay for them. Secondly, if you haven't picked up from the accent, I am Australian. Therefore, I'm generally going to be speaking in terms of Australian dollars, but wherever possible, we're going to be regressing that back to a gold value, so you can still make that conversion in your own currency as you need to. So, starting off from the premium shop, the containers come in bundles of 5, 15, 50 and 75. They cost $6.80, $19.38, $61.20 and $91.80 Australian dollars respectively. And in terms of rate per box, that's $1.36 per box in a bundle of 5, $1.29 per box in a bundle of 15 and $1.22 per box in a bundle of either 50 or 75. So there's no further discounting when you go above 50 boxes. Now for those of you in other parts of the world who don't necessarily use dollary-doos, we've shown those values in gold, and however you cut it, it seems to work out roughly 220 gold per box. So do think about that value when we are looking at these other things that might come out of the box, be they tanks, be they books, or be they 100% drop chance things that might have a slightly subjective value for the individual. So let's start off by answering the all-important question of what is in the box. There is quite a wide spread of guaranteed drops in the boxes, and accordingly there's quite a spread of the values associated with those items. Now, every box that you buy comes with a box. It also comes with a ×5 experience battle mission. That's also the case with the emerald boxes associated with the St. Patrick's Day event. So I've attempted to assign a dollar value to these ×5 experience battle missions, and probably the best we can do there is that they were previously sold for €10 for 25 ×5 experience missions, so that works as 40 euro cents each, and based on the current exchange rate of euros to Australian dollars, that yields 66 cents Australian per ×5 experience battle mission, but roughly 108 gold when you convert that back to any amount of gold. So you'll get that with every purchase. What happens next is quite a wide range. I don't know if these drop chances are necessarily equal in and amongst themselves. However, there is a 100% drop chance of getting one of them. So let's kick off. We've got premium time, which I've identified the in-game shop values there. So that is 1 day, 3 days, 7 days premium time, which could be valued at 250, 650 or 1250 gold respectively. You could also pick up other battle missions. So that is a single battle mission. It could be a bundle of 3 or it could be a bundle of 5 and has multiple gold value that we have calculated based on the €10 for 25 missions at which they were previously on offer for, and extrapolated that and prorated that up accordingly. Once again, personal reserves are there, so it could be a 50% credit boost for an hour, 100% combat experience boost for an hour, it could be a 300% for XP and crew XP boost for an hour, which are available in the in-game shop for 150 gold, the exception being the credits. You can't get the credits personal reserve in the in-game shop, you can only make that for a cash purchase, usually bundled with other stuff, but for the sake of argument, we'll value that at 150 gold per reserve as well. Bit of a new entry to the loot box lineup here. There is, within the 100% drop chance rubric, you could be landing a random national training manual, which will give you 250,000 experience for each crew member. They are normally valued at 2 million credits in game, and this is where we start to deviate from how World of Tanks might assess these things. If you want to exchange gold for credits, you'll normally only get 400 credits per gold. This is horribly overvalued, don't do it. What we've done instead is we've valued the conversion rate at what I think to be a little bit fairer at 1 gold per 1,000 credits. So accordingly, 2 million credits, we would subjectively value at 2,000 gold. A personal training manual granting 850,000 experience points for a specific crew member also sits within this group of potentials within the 100% drop chance. Again, this is a bit of subjective analysis. During the original Crew 2.0 proposals, personal training manuals would convert into universal training manuals, therefore you've got the same implied value, and that value is to apply 250,000 experience points per crew member. So by extension, this will share the same value as the random national training value, valued at 2 million credits in game, which we subjectively value at 2,000 gold based on a credit to gold conversion ratio of 1 gold per 1,000 credits. Also amongst the 100% drop chances are either 250,000 or 500,000 credits, which if we subjectively apply that 1 gold to 1,000 credit conversion ratio, they could be worth 250 or 500 gold respectively. So of these items with 100% drop chance, the one that we have valued at the least, is the ×5 experience battle mission. So coming back to our original panel here, we know that the box purchase comes with a ×5 experience battle mission, and the worst yield you can get is another ×5 experience battle mission, which, put that together, your minimum value per box is 216 gold, or the equivalent of $1.32 Australian. When we look to how that converts to being a rate per box, that's actually less than the rate per box if you buy them in a bundle of 5, but slightly more than if you buy them in a bundle of 15, and 10 cents more per box than if you buy them in a bundle of 50 or 75. Subjectively, it doesn't pass the sniff test, but if you buy larger numbers of boxes, then that would suggest that they do. Moving beyond the 100% drop chance items, you also have a 25% drop chance of picking up training manuals. Specifically, it could be a random national training manual, could be a universal training manual, or a personal training manual, and I guess for reasons stated earlier, we've valued each of these at 2,000 gold. When it all brings back to a conversion to universal training manuals, worth 250,000 XP per crew member, which is the equivalent of a national training manual, which is valued at 2 million credits in game, and we subjectively value 2 million credits at 2,000 gold based on a 1 gold per 1,000 credits conversion ratio. Yeah, so 2,000 gold per book is how we are going to baseline that. There's also a 20% drop chance of picking up one of these 2D styles. They're all rather space related: full course, zero gravity, ad astra, moon viewing, conquer the stars, first space flight into space and up. Now some of these might be quite cool, but I've actually valued this as 0. And I valued this as 0 just because there's an abundance of 2D customizations in the game. I don't know of anyone that is saying, man, I'm really short on 2D customizations. The fact is, there's just so many of them out there. I don't think they're genuinely valued by players. I'm not quite sure the rarity of 2D customizations is something that players use as a status symbol. So it's more down to a personal preference thing that, okay, I think that's really cool, I'd like to put that on my tank. But the reality is, a seasoned player will tend to have an absolute bonanza of 2D styles to choose from. There's also a 20% drop chance of picking up 9 decals, again, all space related. There's the Alien, 31 Seconds to Mars, Vostok 1, Takeoff, or Space Shuttle. Again, with an abundance of 2D customizations in game, I have not assigned any dollar or gold value to these items, just because most players have so darn many of them. There's also a 20% drop chance of picking up a crew skin. They didn't actually give us images of them, so maybe that'll come up when we proceed to the opening, but there's one of 5 crew skins available. I assume these are rather astronaut-y looking crew members. I don't recognize any of those names as astronauts or cosmonauts, but I'm quite happy to have my ignorance checked on that in due course. Now, I think what would be quite beneficial here is if these customization items were saleable. If you could sell your excess 2D skins, if you could sell your excess decals, if you could sell your excess crew skins, where, I don't know, maybe you'd think it's a little bit implausible that a dude in a spacesuit can fit through the tiny little hole that most tankers are required to use to access a vehicle. I think maybe a little bit of saleability in that area would actually allow us to assign some kind of value to it, because I expect that's what a lot of players would do with this sort of asset, is just convert it straight into credits and dedicate that to more useful avenues within the game. But let's not kid ourselves, a lot of people are into the boxes for their chance at picking up a tank. And I guess people from the NA and EU server regions might be slightly more motivated about this, because this is their first opportunity to get their hands on the TL7. That's a premium tier 9 American tank destroyer. Now, each of these tanks have a 2% drop chance. If you open 49 boxes and you haven't picked up a tank yet, then you are going to be guaranteed a tank on the 50th drop. If you open 13 boxes and you pick up a tank on the 14th box, then the counter resets, but you'll be guaranteed a tank on the 64th box opening. You'll never go for more than 50 boxes without picking up a tank. The exception, of course, is if you've already collected all 10 of the available vehicles, in which case they'll be credited at their gold value. So walking through them, there's a TL7 Premium Tier 9 American Tank Destroyer. First opportunity to get it in North America and EU servers. According to Tanks GG, that's valued at 12,750 gold, or over $70 Australian. There's also FV421 Chieftain Proto. That was available in the Christmas boxes. I don't believe it's been available for general sale as yet. But of the vehicles on offer, it actually has the highest value, according to Tanks GG, coming in at 13,000 gold. We also have Astron Rex, which itself was actually introduced as part of a loot box event, Return of the Waffenträger in 2021, if I recall correctly. Speaking of Return of the Waffenträger tanks, there was also T-77, which came up in the year preceding. One of the rather rare tanks that I think people would be quite keen to get their hands on is the T-44-100. It's a premium tier 8 Russian medium tank. This is an expensive tank. Whenever it comes on sale, it's always quite pricey, and compared to other tier 8 medium tanks, it kind of gives it a bit of prominence, something special. So it's actually got quite a high value according to Tanks GG of 11,1200 gold, but you could pick this up for a fraction of that cost through these boxes. Another one you don't see every day, KV4 KTTS, has had only very limited availability, so a good yield from these boxes, I would suggest. IS-3A, now this one could be a little bit controversial for some of you who have bought the Peregrine. So I've also bought the Peregrine, which is just a skinned IS-3A basically. So unfortunately, much like T-26E5 and Patriot, much like SU-130PM and Forest Spirit, basically could potentially end up with two tanks that are the exact same tank. It's just one of them has a designated skin, but so it might be a bit of a thumbs down for folks that already have the Peregrine, myself included. We also have Bofors Tornvarn, which came out in Holiday Ops 2021. E75 TS, very capable premium tier 8 German heavy tank. And what I'd suggest is probably the booby prize of it all is KV5. This is a tank that is constantly in need of a new radio operator, with the radio operator's cupola being a very distinct weak spot on the tank that it itself has actually very poor both standard and premium penetration. But if you are lucky enough to find yourself in a match of 8s over 7s, or forbid 8s over 6s, you're going to have a reasonably good time. Alright, so moving into the box openings, and I kind of jumped the gun. I went to click on the icon and I thought it would bring me up to an interface to open my first box, but no, it just went ahead and did that for me. So yeah, a ×5 experience points mission. Now, to repeat a couple of caveats in case you missed it earlier, these 50 boxes, I did not buy them. They have been provided to me by Wargaming as one of the perks of being a community contributor. There are 50 boxes, therefore statistically I should expect a maximum of one premium tank that come out of this. Of the 10 tanks that are available, there are 4 of them that I do not own. The reason I won't have a TL7 pop up is because I already have a TL7. So we're on the lookout for a T44-100, a KV4 KTTS, or an E75 TS. I'm really hoping IS-3A doesn't come up because I already have Peregrine and it's exactly the same thing. So it's going to be a little bit of a cheeky move by Wargaming to include these vehicles that have another vehicle that does exactly the same thing, albeit with a different skin. But anyway, we shall proceed. So that's ×5 experience points mission being our first yield. Second yield being credit boosters. Third being, okay, I didn't know training booklets were part of the equation. All right, I might have to go and revisit what I was, I might have to go and revisit that spreadsheet now. No, I'm not going to do that, bugger that. And crew and free experience booster, rolling on, okay, 2D customization, full course, and more of these training booklets. Okay, I wish I'd known about that from the literature. Lots of training booklets. Damn it, you're going to make me change my spreadsheet now. Alright, 3 days of premium time. Cool. And more 2D styles, more training booklets. I thought there was going to be a lot more training manuals that were available to us in the literature. I'm not quite seeing that come through. More free experience and crew experience boosters. Additional premium time. ×5 experience points mission, another one of them. There we go, a personal training manual, 850,000 experience points, and a real motherload here of the ×5 experience points. Okay, more 2D styles, the Ad Astra. 50,000 credits. Never go wrong with credits. Training leaflet and combat experience points booster. It's a universal training manual, another combat experience points booster, another training manual, another training booklet rather. Crew XP and free XP booster. training manuals, another 5 times 5 XP missions, which you have to win and place top 10 by experience points to claim that. Another credit booster, always welcome. For XP and crew XP. We're about 30 boxes in now, 20 boxes in rather, and more training manuals, more free XP, crew XP, more credit boosters. Always a pleasure. Another 2D style, first space flight, and 250,000 credits. Okay, we are halfway there, living on a prayer. We have 2 more training booklets, another training booklet, premium time, and a 31 seconds to Mars decal. Let's keep rolling. 3 days of premium time, another training booklet, 2 more training booklets, and we have a crew member, James Lugvik, and as expected, these are sort of a astronauty looking suit. Seem to be making it less about the individual and more about the suit. So they're describing the AL-7 suit here, which NASA used for manned space activities during Apollo 11's moon landing in July 1969. Okay, 30 boxes in. Let's see what is happening. We've got another training booklet, more times 5 missions. Another times 5 mission, a 2D style, that is full course once again. Lots of rockets blazing across the tank should you choose to go there. Another crew skin, Thomas Farmer. Okay, he's one of the Mars characters there, and it's been described as a rare crew skin. So I guess if you are into that thing. Alright, more crew XP, free XP boosters. Another day of premium time, decals. This is again at 31 seconds to Mars, it would appear. And another training booklet for Poland. 250,000 credits and a universal manual. Most helpful when you need to train new crews or get existing crews up to speed. Another combat XP standard personal reserve. Another 2D style, this one 0 gravity, so astronauts floating in the ether across your tank. And another training booklet for Germany, and 3 times 5 mission yields. A training booklet, this one's for China. Going a combat experience booster, 50,000 credits, 500,000 credits rather. Yeah. Got my 10s out, and 3 times 5 mission experiences. So we're at the tail end, have not picked up any tanks thus far, so I think this is going to be a 1 tank yield out of these 50 boxes. Combat experience booster, 7 days premium account, another 7 days of premium account, and a universal manual, another 7 days of premium account, and a personal training manual. Which will be really handy because one of the tanks I've got to do next is Manticore. So because you've only got 2 crew members on which to dump the skills on, these will be absolutely fantastic for getting those crew members up to speed. Okay, another crew XP, free XP booster, and another Chinese training booklet. And okay, second last box, that is Conquer the Stars 2D style. Poland training booklet and a times 5 mission. So that is 49 boxes opened and not a sausage of a tank yet. So being the 50th box, this will be it, ladies and gentlemen. And it is exactly the one I wanted, actually. T44 100. That's come up with a garage slot as well as 250,000 credits. Actually quite happy with this because, yeah, like we said in the intro, this tank, it's expensive. For whatever reason, it just costs an arm and a leg if you've got to buy it. So very grateful to have received this out of boxes. This is probably one of the first opportunities that a player has had available to them to pick up a tank like this in this fashion. It does make it that much more worthwhile. So I'm going to hit pause on this recording. We're going to total up a few numbers and see where we land. Alright, so back to the surface of Mars after we've counted a few beans, and what you'll see here is a bit of an exhaustive list of everything that's come out of the drop and the gold value that we would assign to that. Now, Out of that 50 boxes, that on the face of it has totaled to 37,380 gold. But once we compress that, we're going to end up with a slightly different value, and I will explain why. So going over to the more simplified window, we now see we've got a total of 33,580. So how have we arrived at that? Well, we've assigned 0 value to our 2D styles, we've assigned 0 value to our decals, we've assigned 0 value to our crew skins, although arguably they're supposed to be quite rare. We picked up 1.75 million credits. We valued at 1,750 gold at 1 gold to 1,000 credit conversion ratio. We picked up 20 times 5 experience battle missions, which at 108 gold each gives us 2,160. We picked up 18 personal reserves, valued at 150 gold each. That would total 2,700 gold between them. We picked up 22 training booklets, which we valued at 160 gold each, and that was a simple calculation working back from the cost of a training manual. 2 million credits for a training manual, that gives you 250,000 crew XP. Of course, you get 20,000 crew XP from a training booklet. So as a percentage of 20,000 XP over 250,000 XP, it works out at basically 160,000 credits, which at our 1 gold to 1,000 credit conversion ratio gives us 160 gold per training booklet. We've also picked up 3 universal manuals and 2 personal training manuals worth 2,000 gold each, so collectively 10,000 gold in those higher capacity manuals. We picked up 31 days premium time, and this is actually where we get the major difference. Let's set aside the T44-100 for a moment, which Tanks GG values at 11,200 gold. We've got a total here of 33,580, whereas if we looked at all the components individually, the value was a lot closer to 37,000. Now the reason for this is the more premium time that you buy, the less it's actually valued. So what looked on the face of it to be around 6,000 gold worth of premium time, well, for 30 days you can get 30 days for 2,000 gold plus the 1 day for 250 gold. Accordingly, the gold value of that has come down quite dramatically, so that's left us at the 33,580 where we stand. Also, another thing to bear in mind, because Wargaming gave us the boxes, we didn't buy the boxes, we didn't get the times 5 experience battle mission that would have come with every box, and in total that would have been 50 of them, which at our rate of 108 gold each would have been another 5,400 value, so that would have totaled 38,980 gold worth of stuff that's come out of these boxes. Now if we run that through at the any amount of gold rate at the moment, they'll work out to be $245.96 Australian. By comparison, the cost of 50 boxes is $61.20, so that's an effective discount gold for gold of 75%. That's pretty good, and I guess that's the reason why these boxes are one of the more cost-effective ways of buying in-game assets. Of course, the value of that is going to be subjective. If you're already sitting on over a year's worth of premium time, is another 30 days of premium time really worth it to you? Arguably, that might be able to come out of the equation. If you're already sitting on a heap of times 5 experience battle missions, they're probably not going to be worth that much to you. If you're sitting on a bunch of training manuals, they're not going to be worth that much to you. Although, I probably question why you're sitting on them instead of using them on your crew, but I'll leave that with you. So just in terms of value breakdown of what our gold yield was, we had roughly 29% of the total yield being occupied by tanks, and 7% being occupied by reserves. Books landed quite a big footprint on the overall yield here, 35%. So yeah, roughly a third of the gold value here was tied up in books. Missions, 19%, helped in large part the fact that there's theoretically going to be 50 of them based on 1 times 5 mission coming with every box. Premium time occupying a 6% footprint, and credits occupying a 4% footprint. So there's some interesting indicators. The books, at least in this case, representing a considerable footprint, considerably more so than previous events would suggest. So if you're keeping an open mind about the contents, I think if all of the contents are useful to you, then I think this represents good value for money. It's probably the best way to, if you wanted to take a scattergun approach to getting a few credits, getting a few battle missions, getting a lot of boosters, giving some key crews a bit of a kick along. I think this is a fantastic way to do it. Is it a good way to get tanks though? I think that's highly debatable. Now, even if you look at the Tanks GG gold values, if you're picking up one of the tier 9s or you're getting one of the rarer tanks, or if you're getting one of the more expensive tanks like T44-100, yeah, it kind of sort of works out all right. But you've got to remember, I've taken a real risk here. I could have quite easily picked up IS-3A, which is fundamentally useless to me because I already own Peregrine. Instead, I got really lucky here and I picked up T44-100, which out of all the tanks that I didn't have that I could have had, this is the one that I wanted the most. So I really did get quite lucky there. And I guess that is what you have to keep in mind with these loot boxes. It is a luck of the draw, and I guess you need to play with full view as to what the odds are going to be. And obviously one of the easiest ways to not be disappointed about these boxes is don't go into it with any illusions of coming away with a specific tank, because the money expended versus disappointment ratio is too damn high. So that's it from me, tankers. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much to Wargaming for gifting me these 50 boxes and giving me the opportunity to open them up and show our viewers what is in the box and help form their own assessment of whether the contents of these boxes represent value for them. In the meantime, happy tanking and gamble responsibly.